I'm Valerie Russell. I'm from Milford, Michigan, which is about an hour away from East Lansing. I'm a freshman studying in James Madison College. And last summer, I went on the freshman study abroad to South Africa. There were two tracks you could choose from. One was leadership, and the other was the media, social policy, and social change, which was the one I did. And that was taught by Professor Sisolski. Choosing to study abroad was by far the biggest risk I have ever taken in my academic career, and it pushed me so far beyond the perimeters of my comfort zone. And to know that my family and friends would be in a completely different hemisphere as me was so terrifying, so surreal, but it was all worth it, and there were so many rewards that I hadn't even thought about experiencing after studying abroad. Something unique to my personal experience studying abroad was that I chose not to take my cell phone with me whenever I was in South Africa. And that was a huge decision for me, as just like any other teenager. Of course, I love social media. I love doing all of those things. But I wanted to immerse myself in the culture and just all of the experiences in South Africa, and I felt that having my phone with me would limit me. And so I made that decision, and I did not speak with my friends at all during those study abroad couple of weeks. I only got to talk to my family a couple times, and that was whenever I got off the plane, and one time whenever I was in Cape Town. And that was super emotional for me. I mean, to not have, like, my mother's my best friend, and to not be able to talk with her every day and kind of vent about all the things that have happened to me, it was very difficult. But at the same time, now that made my MSU experience so much easier, and knowing that, my mom is totally just a phone call away, and I don't have to worry so much about international fees or any sort of things like that. There are so many less obstacles here in East Lansing than there were in South Africa. And so I know that I've grown accustomed to living away from home, and to not being able to communicate with my family, that now being able to communicate with them is so much easier, and I definitely feel like that it's not as hard for me as I thought it would be, and studying abroad has made that so. Coming to MSU as a freshman, I'm pretty sure that everybody is intimidated by the size of the campus, by wondering if you can navigate through and find specific buildings and all of that sort of thing. And so I was worried about that too. And whenever I studied abroad, I had to navigate through 3 totally different cities, and I had to use all sorts of maps, had to ask the locals for directions, had to find sort of landmarks to figure out where I was supposed to go. And to make matters even more difficult, in South Africa they drive on the other side of the road, so that changes everything. Right turns become more dangerous than left turns, and whenever you're crossing the street, it seems like the opposite to what your intuition is. And so we struggled with that. I mean, there were certain moments whenever we thought that whenever we were crossing the street it would be safe, whenever it was clearly not. And we made those mistakes, but we grew from that. And I think now, coming to MSU, I feel so much more comfortable navigating through a particular area because I've already done that already 3 different times in 3 different cities. So now after a week or so, I mastered campus, and now I feel comfortable giving directions to anybody else on campus that needs them, and it's very easy for me because I've already developed those skills while studying abroad. Now that I'm at MSU, I'm considering participating in MRUL, which is a multiracial unity living experience, and that's a really cool organization that lets you just talk about different aspects like race and ethnicity and all of those issues. And I feel like I fit better in that now that I've had a study abroad experience. Whenever we were in Pretoria, for instance, we were out just walking around on the streets, and we noticed that the only white people were from our study abroad group. There were no other white South Africans there, and it was really interesting for me to have this first time of being self-conscious of my race, and I feel like that experience helps me empathize with other people now, and I understand what it feels like to be marked in a society. So that's super interesting, and I feel like MRUL is a cool place for me to share my experiences and also learn even more about people on campus. Another thing that is super cool is that studying abroad made me realize how much I'm really interested in international relations. I think that a lot of people think that each country goes through their own specific history, their own separate struggles, when in reality I realized that America and South Africa have gone through a lot of the same racial upheavals, a lot of the same social struggles, and a lot of the same political issues. And so that made me realize, I think we look at all these different countries in different ways when we're all the same people and we all experience the same joys. We all experience the same horrible sorrows in our lives. We all hope for the same dreams and for the same aspirations. And we fear the same threats in our lives. We're not really all that different as the media makes us out to be, as even we ourselves make us out to be. There's so much more to it than that, and I think that international relations is something that I could potentially consider in my career here at James Madison, and I might not have thought that if I didn't have that experience in South Africa and then study abroad. So that was super cool. I would like to thank the faculty at MSU for making this incredible study abroad experience possible. I truly appreciate the hard work that everyone has put into this program, and I would also like to thank my family for giving me this amazing opportunity to go and do this experience, and I feel like I've truly progressed as both an intellectual and as an individual, and that is such a cool experience. So thank you so much.